What up? Welcome to the BruceCooper podcast. My name is Bruce, or Bryce, whatever you prefer. Today I will be interviewing my good friend Rob. You can find him on Twitch, twitch.tv/Rob_Strange_McNamara. It'll be down in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Make sure you go check him out. Absolutely awesome guy, awesome DJ. I've known Rob for a few years now, so this will be a lot of fun for me. We're gonna listen to what it was like for Rob growing up, what life is like for him now. He's an interesting dude, so I hope you enjoy this as much as I did. I appreciate you listening. Thank you so much for all the support, the continued support. If you have any feedback for me, make sure you leave it down in the comments if you watch this on YouTube. You should also shoot me an email, hi@brucecooper.tv. If you want to be on the podcast, keep an eye out on Twitter, twitter.com/BruceCooperTV. I always mess the shout outs out in the beginning. Last podcast I said twitter.tv/ it's not. I just find the people I interview. All right, love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. I will see you on the streams. I'll see you in the podcast. Enjoy. All right, I think it's live. It's not live, it's recording.
Right.
So yeah, I am here with my buddy Rob, who has a real name that we're hiding from the public. I'm just kidding. It's a mystery.
Witness protection.
Yeah, exactly. And you're on Twitch under Rob_Strange_McNamara.
Yeah.
That'll obviously be like in the description and whatever, because I can't spell it. But I
almost changed it to Rob Strange officially, but I always change my mind.
Yeah, that's a weird thing, right? Like everyone's got, because we have friends who have changed their name on Twitch, and it's had like a pretty, I don't want to say like negative impact, but maybe not the impact that they assumed.
Yeah. It's hard to sort of remember sometimes people by one name.
For sure.
And then if it just changes without even a face attached.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And Twitch is such a bitch anyway that it's like you want to do absolutely everything you can to stand out.
Right.
No, I get it, man. Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this. I know it's probably pretty weird for you.
It's fun though. I think it's going to be fun. I'm nervous about like this. I was so nervous about it, but I just got to do it.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's just like streaming too before going live.
I hate that.
Is the hardest thing.
I know. And then like yeah, absolutely, man. And it seems like the more time you take away from streaming, the harder it gets to to go live again, you know?
Back.
Yeah. Cause like I think with Twitch, we build it up, right? Like when we're going every day, like it's building up. And then like when life happens and you take 3, 4, 5 days off, it's so hard to go back because you know it's not going to be at the hype level it was when you had to leave temporarily.
Right.
And that's the worst part. It's always this build up, drop down thing. I think you'd agree with that, right?
Oh yeah. And it sucks. It's like such a number thing, but like my follower number just kills me for how long I've been doing it.
Hey man,
I'm all
that's not, I mean, like honestly, like there's no like with the No Man's Sky thing, right? This is a good point.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not trying to make you feel better or anything. Like you can get 2,000 followers or whatever in a month just by striking a nerve, you know? Like, and it's just, it can just happen so fast, but I get it. It
like drifts off when it happens though too. That's what I think. Like, just the explosions. They fall
off.
Yeah, you know.
That's depressing.
Like when I had the whole blowing myself up in DayZ thing and then switching to squad, like my follow count like doubled from, you know, doing it for 4 years. Then this one thing and I basically doubled. But now it's like at the bottom end of that hill again. It's weird. It
is weird, man. And like it's the hardest. I completely, and I think like I completely understand, and I feel like anyone who's really given their heart to really, really, really put in the work understands. Like it sucks. It sucks, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I want to be streaming. I want to stream forever, as hard as it is, you know, like, and I think it has its claws in me.
Yeah, it's definitely way better than a 9 to 5. You know, like,
Yeah.
all that shit attached, it's still way better than the 9 to 5. I think.
Right. For sure. Now,
and not that like follower number even really means anything. That's the worst part about it, is like it is such a stress, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, and man, to be honest, none of it really matters.
Right.
I think, when I don't know it, and I don't mean to talk so much. I realized this in the last podcast. I talk so much about myself. I don't mean to. It's something I'm here to talk
STFU
about you. Yeah. But like right around my 30th birthday. So I'm 32 now. So right around my 30th birthday, I kind of I don't know what it was. And I think we talked about this a little bit, or I've talked about it with but like when it's all said and done, right? Like when we're about to die and we're very, you know, we're older or whatever, we're not going to look back. We're not going to look back and be like, dude, I had 7,000 followers on Twitch.
Right.
You know, or like like I had 10,000 subs, or it's not going to be a metric, right? For me, it's going to be the friendships. Exactly.
Like, you know,
the moments like these, or like the big picture. None of it's going to be involving metrics at all.
Right.
But on the flip side of it, I think our brains go, well, like we can't be living for like our last moment on Earth, right? Like I can't live my life just so that I
live for now too.
Exactly. So it's a balance, you know?
Yep.
But even like, you know, with the whole like partnership thing, and like, I don't know, man, like it doesn't really, if you had 10,000 followers, would it make your stream better?
Right. Not at all.
Not at all. Right. Like, it wouldn't. That's why when
it doesn't make a difference. Yeah.
That's why I always think it's like, you see new streamers now with like pro production, and it's just like, it's kind of cool. And it's kind of, at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. I was talking to Red about this. Like my favorite part of all of this is the setup, not necessarily the execution.
Yeah. Until shit breaks. Yeah.
Until shit breaks. Yeah. Like we were dealing with our mics before.
Yeah. I love tweaking my shit and trying to just get it as good as I can on every aspect.
Right.
And then I'm like, I can't wait to show this to people, but then I can't hit the live button.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you live in the Chicago area.
Yeah, now I do. Yeah.
What's it like?
I've been all over.
Okay, let's step. So like, where did you grow up?
I grew up outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico, in Rio Rancho.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit
It was
warmer.
pretty out there. It's like, these days it's just like Breaking Bad.
Really?
But back then when I lived there, there's like nothing. There was nothing there. It grew so fast.
What was that like? Like how
weird? I don't know. It was cool.
How old were you? Like how old were you when you moved away?
Well, we moved there when I was 5, and then moved away when I was 16.
Oh wow.
So yeah, like I think of it as that's where I grew up, and then I came to Chicago at 16, which was like a huge culture shock.
That's so wild. So Albuquerque, obviously, like a huge culture shock. Temperature, like climate wise, people wise, like
just the lay of the land is so different. I remember like one of the first things I thought when we got to our house, when we moved out here, I was like, all these houses are so close together.
Yeah.
You know, like you can, in some spots, you can like touch 2 houses at the same time in Chicago.
Now, what in the world would make you go from Albuquerque, New Mexico to Chicago?
Well, my parents, but it was work.
I see.
So both my parents are from the other side of Chicago for me, basically. And, through their lives, like they moved to Seattle. That's where I was born. And then moved to Albuquerque for my mom's parents to try to help them. And then like after they passed and my dad got a real good job opportunity back here, we came back here for them, but came here for me and my two sisters.
I see. Well, like the better life in Chicago. Dad was going to make more money and like,
by a long shot.
I see.
There just wasn't even a lot of jobs out there. Like where I lived at the time, the town basically in Rio Rancho, that town like sprung up because an Intel plant got built there. So everything was like there weren't even schools there yet when we first got there. My first year, we had to be bused real far away into Albuquerque. And then they finally built an elementary school. So it was just middle of nowhere desert, and then moving I'm not like downtown Chicago. I'm not around skyscrapers and stuff, but I'm right outside the city.
Right.
So it's still pretty packed in.
Now, I live in just this little sheltered life. Like Chicago scares the shit out of me from what
fun.
And that's what I have through streaming and stuff. I've met people who live there and they all say, oh yeah, I mean, that's just a facade. But like, so, I mean, is there any truth? Like, is there truth to it? Like, Chicago, like you only ever hear like the dangerous stuff, right?
Right. It's just, I don't know, man. I mean, there's definitely a lot of shootings, and for the most part, like if you just know where you are and you're smart, you're fine.
Right.
But that's not guaranteed because there's some crazy shit that happens.
Yeah.
But like I lived in Arizona as an adult for 2 years, and I was like more scared of getting shot there than I was here.
I've heard that there's parts of Arizona that are downright like just dangerous.
Like you'd see people in Phoenix driving around like in their pickup trucks with a rifle on the back window and shit, it's just like, man.
Well, see, I grew up with that here because in Oregon, everyone hunts and it's like a huge, when I was talking to my dad and when he was in high school, he used to ride the city bus with a gun to go hunting in the city bus.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
And like that there was nothing. They would drive like all the kids at school would have guns in their trucks and their like on the gun rack in the back seat. Like I grew up with a gun rack in the back seat and like I never thought anything of it. And now it's just that would make the news almost, it's wild.
Yeah, probably.
But it's,
at the very least, like the cops would be on the bus.
Yeah, asking some questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, that's Chicago.
I mean, there's definitely like I almost got mugged once trying to buy a scalp ticket for a show. And
now what's that? Tell us that story.
I picked the wrong guy. You know how back in the day you used to go to shows and there'd just be scalpers walking around outside, like
yeah, with a
hey, I got 2 tickets for tonight or whatever. Yeah,
it's not that way anymore.
Not anymore because everything just ends up like on StubHub. At least not that I've seen.
Yeah. I went to a Blink 182 concert when I was in like 9th grade, and there were people, and we got our friend in because we bought him a scalp ticket.
Yeah,
but anyway.
We used to go to shows without tickets all the time, and like when I was in my teens and early 20s, and we'd just know there'd be scalpers. We'd buy tickets that way.
Yeah.
So it was like I think it was either the Frontline Assembly show or the Ministry show at House of Blues. And we went and did that. And there was 3 of us. And the first scalper we met only had 2 tickets. So it was like, okay, you 2 buy them and I'll get one from another one. And the guy that I ended up like, he was huge, way taller than me. And I'm a big guy,
Yeah.
He's like, all right, well, let's just go down the alley and we'll get this taken care of, which is not that big of a deal. But he just like holds his fist out to me, like the ticket's in his fist, supposedly. And then, you know, it was like, give me the money.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, you know, let me see the ticket. Give me the money. Like, steps in. I just stepped back and ran. Like, at least it was just barely into the alley, you know? So I just ran back onto the road.
Yeah.
There was all the people in line and shit there. So I knew nothing was going to happen. Plus some security out there.
Right.
But yeah, so that was,
Crazy.
it happens. You got to be careful in the city, I guess. But
yeah, man.
You know, I was young and dumb then too.
Right.
Not that I'm not dumb anymore.
Dude, I always, like, if I had to run for my life, like I'd be up shit creek, man.
Yeah.
Like I need to figure that out.
Yeah, because even back then, like I was a big kid, but the guy was huge.
Right. Lucky he didn't grab you by the neck or something.
Right. Yeah, I just like when he kind of stepped in, it made me step back.
Yeah.
And then I just like, you know, he's like, give me the money. And I was just like, whoop, I just fucking probably left a little smoke trail.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that, yeah, man, jeez.
But even that was a while ago. So it's just kind of, I guess, escalated from there. And
right. And
it's crazy because everybody does have guns in the city, but that's just the thing.
But I would venture to say that, you know, you go to Seattle, a lot of people, yeah, I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
You know, like Chicago just, is it fair to say, I mean, do you think it's justified kind of what you see on the news about Chicago, or do you think Chicago gets a bad rap?
You know, I don't think like the news is making up shootings.
Well, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
You know, so there's definitely something there for them to report on. Does maybe Chicago get focused on a little bit more because it has that rap? I guess maybe that's possible.
Yeah, with the whole like
Chirac or whatever.
Chirac, yeah. Like that. I vaguely remember.
I don't feel like that. I don't like when I go out or when I go shopping or hit the gas station or whatever it might be. I'm not like, oh, I'm about to get shot any second here. I better be ready to take cover. You know?
Yeah.
But you do, I guess at the same time, you do kind of like when you're walking out to your car, you're like kind of watching where people are at and shit sometimes, depending on the neighborhood or whatever.
Well, dude, like we were in, when we went to, so me, Robit, and Normie all went to TwitchCon 2 years ago. Not this last TwitchCon, the TwitchCon.
That was
before.
Anaheim, right?
No, San Jose.
Oh yeah, San Jose. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we went to San Jose and we drove and we somehow got diverted and ended up in like Oakland. But it was because like Astro lives in Oakland, you know, like there's great parts of Oakland. Edith's grandma lived in Oakland, but this was the part of Oakland where like there was just trash all over the ground and like every fence was barbed wire. And we needed gas. We were about to run out of gas.
Yeah.
And I just remember like going to that gas station and that same sort of, that it was just this, it was fine. It was probably perfectly safe, but everyone was watching everyone.
Right.
And like we were in this like nice Lexus, so it kind of felt out of place. And then like, but it's too bad because like there's this makes me really uncomfortable because like I'm so sheltered. There are no doubt there are amazing people that live in those sorts of situations that will never get the chance they deserve because of where they live. It just seems so.
Oh, for sure.
That's such a bummer to me, man. And like,
I think one of my philosophies overall is like, if we could take care of poverty, we'd solve so many fucking problems in the world.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It's definitely like the cause of a lot of shit, but how to do that that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. And I think too, like, you know, when like poverty, like when kids get hungry or they, you know, they tend to do worse in school, or when they can't dress like their friends. Worse
schools.
The schools are terrible because the teachers aren't getting paid and they don't get good teachers.
You know, we pay for school with property tax. So if you're in a poor ass neighborhood, there's poor ass property tax. Your school doesn't get shit.
And it's messed up, man. Like Edith works at a Title I school, like technically like a low income school, and we think that's rough. Like I couldn't imagine, you know, like a really rough, like
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. But that, yeah, like you said, that's a whole.
Yeah, the realities of solving it, or whatever you want to say, that's a whole fucking
right.
Well, that's, been history, sort of.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer, and
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to get too political either, because we both know how that goes, no matter what.
Yeah, it's never like, oh, I feel really good. Yeah.
And plus, like the battles in my chat that have been over the dumbest shit that like turned political blows me away.
Dude, it's very yeah, exactly. Like it's crazy, like how quickly it can. It's either like politics or religion, right? Like it can go so quickly into this dark, like talking about Teslas, and then all of a sudden, like,
right?
It's like, whoa. You know exactly.
Yeah, people are like MFing each other in chat and stuff. It's like, what the just happened here?
Well, and you stream late at night, it's like people are oftentimes like, they've had a couple.
Yeah.
now kind of going like, so you do a lot of DJ streams, which is really unique. Like I've never, with the exception of one other guy, like you're the only person I know who does like a creative, like music stream.
Yeah.
Where did that idea start? Like how did we, because I knew you before that. I remember that. Right. I remember you talking about wanting to do something like that, and then it happened. So like what happened? Like what led you to do that, to get that started?
Well, it was like right about the time that you were making wallets and shit on stream.
Right. That was fun.
Everybody was sort of like looking for something else to do besides just game.
Right.
And I was like, man, I used to DJ and I used to do sets for like Winamp radio stream shows and stuff like that.
Really?
And
That's
I'm
awesome.
sure. Yeah, I just like started back then with that stuff. I'm like, I'm sure I can take that and stream it somehow, but like how to make it watchable and how to make everything work was the, like the fun challenge too. Man, did that start out bad. Sometimes I go watch that first DJ stream where I was using the tablet controller and shit. But I did, I just did it. I'm like, fuck it, let's do it and see what happens. And
that's that right attitude to have.
Yeah. It's awesome. I love it when it's good. It's way more work and way more pressure than a gaming stream.
Right.
But it's really awesome when it pulls off. Lately, like I took about a 2-month hiatus from the DJ streams, but just kind of been starting them back up again here. And the last couple have really been pretty good considering how rusty I felt.
Well, dude, they're super fun to watch. And like what makes them what makes them really good for me is that oftentimes I'm not paying attention to any streamer, right? Like no one goes and intently watches a stream for 6 hours. Like that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
like
at the very least you have to get up and go to the bathroom.
Right. Like I throw it on my phone and I play it in the background when I'm like reading or like, looking over like my calendar or I'll just sit on my phone and do notes for hours and just have the DJ stream up and going. And
nice.
Like, that's I don't feel like a lot of people realize that you can even do that with Twitch yet. Right? Like, I mean,
there's like Jovian is probably the biggest, I think, DJ on Twitch, but there's definitely other people doing it. And it's cool because everyone, surprisingly, like most of them managed to do something really different with something that's so small, kind of like DJing is not, it's not real big to watch or anything unless they have some kind of festival set up with huge lights and pyrotechnics and like all that shit. But a lot of people really managed to pull it off pretty good, I think.
Do you have anything, like if you could do, well, I don't want you to like expose secrets or anything for the future, but like, do you have anything that you want to do that you could share? Like, or do you just want to keep it how it is now for as long as possible, or if you could change anything, like?
Well, I was during that hiatus, I was planning like to try to change the whole like my whole OBS side of things for the DJ streams. I wanted a whole new, alerts and overlays and just completely different style of setup for it, but I just couldn't. What do I want to change it to?
Yeah.
I couldn't decide like a new theme or whatever you want to say. And so, I just ended up changing the colors of everything and changing a few things, but I don't know. So go ahead. Well,
no, I just meant like, do you ever look at your setup and go, man, I want to rearrange my office, or like, I want to get new lights, or like, I want to, like, do you ever go through that phase? For me, it's a weekly thing.
The thing that, like, I've been planning to build a desk for almost a year now and just haven't done it because I don't have the confidence in the carpentry skill to do some of the stuff I want to do, like in my carpentry skill.
Right.
So I keep pushing it off. But yeah, I want to build a much bigger desk and actually have everything on the desk. I know my setup like looks cool, but that's because it's all dark in the room and you can't see how many things are like floating on arms or their own little stands connected to the side of my desk and shit like that. Like, I feel like I've done the best with what I have, but I definitely need at least a bigger desk. And yeah, I'd love to change my background in my room, but this is really like the small and only extra space I have room here. So,
well, yeah, for sure. I just always find it interesting, and like, there's a certain like stigma attached to it too. Like, a lot of streamers absolutely refuse to change anything. They feel like it's their magic, Yeah. Like, if you turned on a stream and somebody was in a different room and like their camera angle was different, it would be they see it as like a huge detriment. Like, man, it's a different streamer now, And
yeah, I think change is good personally.
So do I.
They're welcome to. I'm sure you'll like, if you interviewed 10,000 Twitch viewers, it would probably split like close to the middle,
right,
of whether the viewers think you should change shit or not. So either way, you're not going to please everybody.
And then there's the group that says like, you should do what you want to do, and then I just want to cater to that group.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. Well, cool. So yeah, like.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The DJ thing it's been fun. I'm glad that people actually want to hear some of the stuff that I want to play, because I feel like I don't play what people would think of when they think of a DJ.
Yeah, I think most people I think would think of like top 40.
Yeah, and then or like, big dance hits or whatever.
Yeah, or like trap house sort of stuff.
Whatever the kids are calling it these days.
Yeah, right. Jungle acid. Yeah, like
right.
But like, no, I think that's a good point. Like, I think it's cool. I mean, I'm a fan of like Alkaline Trio, and
right.
So to hear those, like, that's a really good point. I never really thought of it like that. Like, you tend to DJ music that's the music that you're into.
Right. And I think for sure some people probably come in the stream and are like, what the fuck is this guy playing? And then just leave. Oh. But I think there's probably the same amount of people that are like, oh, this is actually really cool and different. Let me check this out,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what you're breaking that wall between, like, when most people think of DJ, I think most people who are my age, they think of the DJs that were at their like high school dance, or like,
right.
They're just catering to what's popular, but you're DJing because you want to listen to the music that you like, not because you want
and try to share that music too, for sure,
Right. So you have your playlists up?
Yeah. Well, I have, so I use Tractor, which is the DJ software, and I have you put music into it. It has its own browser basically and everything. And I have about 4,000 songs in there that are all shit that I really love. And, Tractor has its whole setup where it analyzes it for its gain level and key and stuff like that to help. And I put cue markers in. So I can easily find, you know, because dance music, when you're dance or play like a dance music DJ, the stuff that is normally played, it's all that music is like real standard structure, right? It's always 8 beats or 4 beats, you know, 4 bars,
right?
Transitions on the 16 or 32 beats. And constantly, there's always like an intro and an outro. But so much of the music that I play doesn't have all that. So I really need to set up good cue markers and shit like that so I can start a song where I want to, or, you know, remember stuff. Because in 4,000 songs, you can't remember all of them just from the name.
Dude, I would venture to say that no one can remember one album's worth.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
What you try to do is like, while I'm listening to one song and I'm, you know, thinking, what's this song sound like? Okay. Do they go together? Yeah. And then actually listen to it and set it up and make the mix when it's time.
Now you're doing all of that while song A is playing, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy. You have the ability to mute song A and or not mute it, but turn the volume down on song A.
I can listen to stuff that you guys can't, or stuff that doesn't go to you.
Right.
You know, like it has its own whole queue set up, and I can determine what's on the queue and then how much of the queue versus how much of like the master I'm listening to. So yeah, I like listen to the two together. I compare the volume levels to make sure that, you know, because I'm playing such a wide range of music. Some of it's from like the 90s or early 2000s, and music recorded today is way louder than that. And if you don't like boost the gain of the quieter track, it blows the whole mix because the volume just like tapers way off,
right? Stuff
like that. So you got to compare that and find a good spot to mix and make sure that the beat matches. You know, I mean, I use sync, which is a weirdly controversial thing in DJing, but I can beat match by ear, no problem too, because that's how I started out.
So, what you're hearing, is it like just extremely chaotic?
Sometimes, yeah.
It's like,
yeah, sometimes for sure.
That's crazy.
And then trying to read chat at the same time, you know, shit like that.
Right. Thanks, Squid, for the 55 gifted subs.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's nuts, dude. So, like, if I understand correctly, I know nothing about DJing.
Right.
You're listening, so like the audience is hearing something, but what you're hearing is the next song, and you're trying to make sure the level's correct. You're trying to match the tempo or the time signature. And you're trying to find
usually
the tempo, and you're trying to find a good place for it to be brought in to the end of the first song.
Yeah. And basically, that's pretty close. Usually I'm listening to both at once. Like, so I'm still listening to what you guys listen to just to make sure nothing gets fucked up.
Right.
But yeah, then I'm also like queuing up the next song, or even just like listening to a couple different songs to try to pick one that works.
So you don't
have
have the songs queued up in like a line. You just kind of grab.
Nah.
Cool.
I pick my first 4 songs every night in case there's some kind of technical difficulty at the start of the stream. You know how that goes. But after that, I pretty much just sometimes it's out of necessity. Like the song A is ending, and so it's like, oh shit, I just have to find something that works right now. But most of the time I try to, like, I don't know, continue a mood or flow through, or I'm just like, oh, this is a damn good song. Everybody needs to hear this one, you know?
Right.
So I try to mix it in. But yeah, I don't really prep too much, which is real non-standard as well. But
yeah, because you'd think at a set, it'd be like they'd have a set list. But at a, but for that's cool. So that's why.
But it's also like, oh, God.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, it's also like long. You know, my DJ sets are 4 hours at least, usually a little bit more.
Right.
They used to do like 6-7 hours sometimes. So that's really hard, I think, to pick out a ton of music for beforehand anyway. Like, probably anybody doing long format like that is not laying out a set. But like when you go see guys like Stevie Aoki, the cake throwing dude.
Yeah.
Like he knows from A to Z, like every song he's playing that night. and he probably knows like exactly how he's mixing them. He's practiced that whole thing 1,000 times probably in his studio before going live with it.
Right.
But I'm just like throwing them together. Not that that's super rare. There are definitely more people that do it too, but
yeah,
it's a weird format that I'm doing, I guess.
I feel
and weird ways that I have to do it.
I feel like it's the difference between like going on a tour to promote an album or something or a set or whatever versus being like the house DJ.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah.
Like that. Like we'd go to bars and stuff that would have like the DJ, the house DJ or whatever, and like they just people would bring them stuff to play. Like there's right, and like that's pick your fate, pick your mood, I guess.
Right.
Like there's definitely
and they're like just playing through the night as well.
Yeah, they're just playing all
They
night.
might have a like let's get the dance floor busy at 11:30, so I'm gonna play these 5, 6, 20 songs, whatever might be in there. But yeah, generally they're like free flowing throughout the night.
That's so cool. There's a definite art to it, and I don't think a lot of people understand it. To most people, they just see like a couple turntables and they're like, wow.
Right. Yeah.
They don't really think that much further into it,
There's definitely, I mean, a lot of it is like a practice skill. Same with, I guess even most music is the same, right? You can practice the skill part of it, but there is certainly a creative, artsy side or whatever you want to say, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's the part that like is harder. There's no rules to develop that, I guess. You just got to do it.
Right. And like, well, so do you play, I don't want to say do you play any instruments, because like would a turntable be considered an instrument? Probably.
Oh, I don't know. It could be for sure. I'm not that good with one, but like, yeah, some of those guys can do some amazing shit. Like my scratching skills and stuff like that are not that great. I've played bass and a tiny bit of guitar, like just messing around with stuff like that, but I never got serious about anything like that.
Right.
I don't know.
Do you have actual turntables that you like? Do you ever bust them out?
Well, I have 2 really good, the Technique 1210 MK2s, baby.
Right.
Like those were the ones all the pros used and shit. Cause I started just with, vinyl, 2 turntables and a mixer.
Right.
That's how I started DJing, and the first, like, I don't know, 6, 7 years of my DJing, that's all I did. So that's all like adjusting the tempo of the record and pushing it or scooting it to listen in and beat match by ear. And I did some, I don't know, like okay sized parties and shows
right
back then, and then got married and kind of just stopped DJing for a while.
Right.
Then started doing that little bit of internet radio stuff, and then just stopped again. And then finally started again with Twitch.
Now,
I know you asked me a question, but I don't remember what the hell it was.
No.
If I had turntables, so I did answer.
Yeah,
Whatever,
yeah.
Bruce. Don't try to double talk me.
No, man, that's perfect. I'm a terrible host, so.
You're good, dude.
Yeah.
People are here to listen to you talk to whoever you're talking to. Like, they're definitely here for the BruceCooper of the BruceCooper podcast.
Right. Well, I appreciate
They're here to hear how you mess up this time.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I guarantee you somebody is just rewinding right now to count how many times I've said and
That's me.
Yeah, or one damage.
Yeah.
So interesting. So like the internet, so you're, how do I say this? Like you're a little bit older than me, right? So
I'll be 44 in a couple weeks.
Well, happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
So you really got to see, I remember my first like computer and stuff, but you were you were an adult when the internet.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was, I guess, adult, and a high school, basically.
Yeah, like late, like a mid. Okay, well, I consider an adult 18, right? So
a little bit under that then, but yeah, close.
But like, I was in like 4th, 5th grade, so I don't really remember I wasn't really into music until I was in high school. And by that time, burning CDs,
Oh yeah,
MP3 players, mini disc players were the hot thing for me.
yeah.
You could put like 120 songs on a mini disc. And
I
like,
still have a wall of CDs. Like, I don't know what to do with them anymore. They don't get touched.
it's too bad. Because I mean, there's
Yeah.
so much, like, I have friends who still buy CDs when they can.
Right.
But so like the whole Winamp, like that when I think of Winamp, I think of this weird time when there was a lot of experimental stuff going on in like technology and music, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember Winamp. The reason I liked Winamp is because I could get skins and make it look like there's goo and stuff, you know?
Right.
What was that like? Like, was that must have been because you were, do you remember, like, do you have fond memories of that time?
Like I don't know. I mean, I guess I do. I still have Winamp 2.8.1 on my PC.
I have no idea what that is, but yeah.
Oh, it's the super early version of Winamp still. Like when it was just the little black player with the EQ.
Yeah.
Like before that had any, like it doesn't even have internet connectivity in it.
Crazy.
It asks if you want it to connect, you know, and it's like, what kind of connection? Dial up.
Wild.
It's, and I just keep that for quickly playing because I can like double click on an MP3 and that Winamp version will be open instantly and playing it instead of like other, you know, any other player like has to load up and
Connect,
verify your collection and run the Genius search and
got it. So this just plays it.
Yeah, it's just old, but I keep the installer on my backup drive. So whenever I reformat, I like reinstall it on my PC.
Right. Well,
just
I guess
to have it. Yeah.
What I meant was in my mind, like when I think back to this time where like digital music was really, really exciting, right? Because like you'd have a CD, and then if you're lucky, you had a CD player in your car. Most people had a tape player and then a CD player on their passenger seat with one of those adapters.
Right, skipping every time you hit a
Yeah, and like so like this was like this idea of like having music on your computer and stuff, and then like putting it onto your mini disc player or like even in like your MP3 player and stuff. That was kind of, that very well could be why like I'm here now, right? Like that time frame.
Digital music was huge for me too. I mean, like I said, I had the wall of CDs, so I was a big analog music fan. Well, I don't know if CDs aren't really analog, but you know, whatever.
We'll consider
I was a big fan of physical music, I guess.
You're right.
But as soon as I got into computers and like learned about, you know, a little bit of peer-to-peer sharing and CD ripping, like I ripped my entire collection, and I had this shitty, humongous Asus MP3 player. The thing took 8 AA batteries. Like it was huge, but it did the job, you know, and I could put all my thousands of music files. I mean, I have like 80,000 MP3s on my PC now.
Wow.
But even back then it was a lot, you know?
Yeah.
I embraced it big time, but I still purchased a lot of music too. I definitely did my fair share of pirating.
Right.
But usually I would end up purchasing it or like deleting stuff, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Seeing all that stuff happen was pretty cool. Not paying like $16 for CD anymore was cool.
Do you remember the first CD you downloaded?
Oh God. No, that I definitely don't. I would bet it was something weird and European.
Yeah.
Because one of the bands I play in the DJ streams all the time is Orbital. I'm a big fan. Like they were on the Hackers soundtrack, that song Halcyon.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're pretty big, and I was really into them back then. They were one of the reasons I started listening to electronic music.
Right.
And so I was on their forums and stuff back in the day, and those forums were awesome. People would just recommend shit all the time. And so much of it was like these small independent artists in Europe. And so you could just like hop onto SoulSeek, which was the the peer-to-peer program I used at the time and would just download stuff from there. So the first stuff I did was probably stuff like that, honestly. But no, I did plenty afterwards too. I immediately became like a try before you buy with all the music. I would download everything, and if I liked it, I would buy it. But if not,
move on.
Go to hell. These days, I'd buy digital music just direct though, or vinyl.
The very first CD I downloaded was Everclear So Much for the Afterglow because I had the physical copy and a friend convinced me I would go to jail if I downloaded it and I didn't have the regular copy. So I was like, and then I quickly learned that was bullshit. But you know what I mean? Like, I learned, it was like backup. Like he was like, you can only download them if you could prove that you have the physical. And so like we downloaded it and it took 18 hours or something like that.
Right.
And like,
like you would queue up an album and you'd be like, all right, I'm going to bed now. Exactly. We'll see if this is done in the morning.
Yeah. And then that whole resurgence started again when you could start downloading movies. I remember people would, songs were fast, but you know, people's high speed internet, they were lucky if they got like 3 to 5 megabytes a second, maybe. So to download an 8 gig or, you know, like a 4 gig movie would take 7 hours if you were lucky.
Right.
We went from dial up to cable. We never went the DSL route.
Yeah. I think we did the same. We were like, as a kid, I was on dial up for a while.
Right.
But it was also probably the only thing really available for quite a while as well.
We had AOL and then Earthlink.
Yeah.
And then Earthlink was weird because it was the first time you'd have this like dial-up client and then a browser as opposed to like a built
into AOL. Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I miss like forums. I miss chat rooms. I miss the excitement of like posting something on a forum and then coming home after school and seeing a bunch of comments to it.
Instead of like, you're a stupid, you don't know what the talking about, like Facebook style or whatever. Yeah.
Or just this instant thing, right? Or like always having email on your phone.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
I get a little bit of it now when I'll post something on Twitter or something and I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I got like 35 likes overnight. You know, I'll be like, oh, that was cool. But I think, you know, I don't know. I especially lately, I've just been like really looking back and like just missing a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure I'll look back at this time and miss it too. So I guess I just need to learn to enjoy the moment.
Good luck.
Good luck with that. Yeah. Any games that you're really excited about coming up?
Oh man, I don't know. The games market is another weird one these days. I feel like I keep wanting DayZ to get good and it never does. You know, I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with every game, like Destiny.
Yeah.
I'm always hooked on it, but then I hate it because I can't figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do. Like last night I was watching Astro Grunt play and Processes in there. Like they all know Destiny pretty well.
Right.
I can't remember what I asked. I asked like, what is a blah, 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 you know? And they're like, oh, that's Pinnacle Gear. And then I'm like, what's Pinnacle Gear? Like, I can't figure, they use all this weird language in the game, this English stuff, and the maps are horrible.
Destiny, I've had this conversation with other people in podcasts. Like, it's such a fun game, but my God, I have no idea what to do.
Yeah, I read these quests, and the quest is like, go to the humble tree where the man was born, and in time you will find the end. What? That's my quest?
Yeah. Yeah. What does that even mean? And then I find myself just doing the same event like over and over and over again and not even knowing.
Because you get distracted all the time in it.
Yeah. Or like in most games, when you get shot, you run towards what shot you and then you kill it. And then in Destiny, like you run towards that shot, and then like you get shot again, and then like an event opens, and you're like, this is where I should be.
Right.
And then it just does that over and over and over again, and you're like, it's just on like a repeating cycle.
Right. And it kind of is. It kind of is.
Yeah.
I think the game would be way better if it had more like really random stuff.
Right. If
bad guys spawned at random points and the events moved around randomly or whatever. I don't know. And maybe I'd just get lost more.
What's your I'm personally excited for Red Dead Redemption 2.
You know what I really want to play, but is only on the Apik store, is After Party from the people that did Oxenfree.
Oh, interesting. Now, are you you're not an Epic Store fan?
I'm just against installing yet another like game manager on my PC. How many do I need?
I get it.
I don't have anything like against Epic specifically, but you know, it's like, oh, come on. Just let me, and the exclusivity, I'm not a big fan of that, but it's not really enough to stop me from getting the downloader.
Yeah.
But like at least Discord gave up on theirs.
Yeah.
I don't use the Twitch launcher anymore, I guess. So adding another one isn't that big of a deal, but it just still is annoying. Like, let me just purchase the damn thing on Steam. It's the service I use.
Right. I know. I completely understand. And then like, the thing that drives me crazy is, you know, that little arrow in the bottom right corner next to the speaker icon? I'll click that. Yeah. I have 1, 2, 3 game launchers.
Right.
4 there, just chilling.
I finally went in them all and set them, like none of them will automatically start with Windows, and I start them.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Myself. Yeah, just to save the stupid. I mean, I know they probably are only using like 0.3%. But still, yeah. If I'm not even using you don't need to start up.
I will say though that what Apik did with the like they're getting these games, like Red Dead gets, like they're getting all these games 6 months before Steam.
Yeah.
And that's just like, dude, if I was Steam, that would drive me freaking crazy.
Right.
I'd be like,
yeah, and it's all like just money deals.
They must be paying insane amounts of money to get those games early like that.
Right.
But it's really,
and like,
it's making them relevant.
It's like taking real minimal fees for like the sales percentages too.
But
I do feel like if Epic gets to the point where they're as big as Steam or a real competitor to Steam, we'll see their dirty side.
Absolutely. You know, always do. Yeah.
Every company's all, well, not altruistic, but they're all, you know, super consumer friendly when they're the big underdog. But once they're like the big dog in town, you always get to see like the real side.
Yeah. It's like their dirty laundry. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's just like, oh, you want a refund? Go F yourself.
And it'll come in like, it'll be, the way I feel it always happens is like, they'll do all these really cool, good things, and they'll be at the top. And then there'll be like one little thing where it was like, you know, it was discovered that 6 years ago, like Epic was selling email addresses. Oh, but you know, and then,
right.
And then those will become more and more like regular. And then, I mean, I don't know, like that's kind of scary to think about, because I don't mind Epic. It's annoying but I get annoyed by something about the Origin thing launcher just grinds my gears.
I don't have Titanfall 2 because I don't want to reinstall Origin.
And then they have their like friends thing where like you can't play with your friends unless you're, and then their notifications are all bad, and I don't know, just that whole thing, and I don't.
Yeah, and the multiple friend lists you have to have because of all the different launchers, and you're like, hey, I thought we were friends here. I guess not. Let me add you here too. You know,
Steam doesn't allow me to add any more people. I have to delete.
Oh, are you full up?
Yeah, apparently it's 300.
Oh, wow.
That's not a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, like, especially if you're somebody that, you know, plays with streams and plays with subs and stuff. Like, I don't know. And then they
get it because they don't want it to become like a massive spam machine, but 300 is definitely a little low.
Yeah, or you should be able to. I don't know. You should be able to like apply to have it double or
maybe. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
They catch you. I've gotten into this habit of checking. You know, if somebody wants to be friends with me, I'll check their VAC bands, and if they have VAC bands, I'm not friends with them.
Yeah, I used to until just recently. I didn't really share my Steam name very much, and part of that was because I played DayZ on stream so much. But
yeah,
you know. Once I started doing the squad thing and trying to get people to join in and play together and like make a whole squad together, that's when I just started releasing my Steam all the time. Even though it's just Rob_Strange, so it's probably not that hard to figure out. But
yeah, dude, I need to get squad. I feel like I might have squad.
Man, it can be frustrating, but it can be super rewarding as well.
The thing with squad that makes me nervous is like, I don't want to be yelled at by people.
Right, and you will be. You will be.
Yeah, I feel like squad, they'll be like, Bruce, what are you doing? You know, like, I don't know if I want to. I'm sorry.
You'll get yelled at for doing what you were told, but they forgot that they told you to do it. Like, that's happened to me. You know?
All right, buddy.
And, like, if you start snapping back, they're just like, you want to get kicked out of the squad?
Yeah.
No, sir. I'm sorry.
Because it's such a team chat driven driven thing.
Yeah, I literally like the last time I streamed it, last round I played, my squad leader's like, Rob Strange, you're way out of position. Check your map. And I'm thinking, like, dude, I'm way out of position because all the rest of you fuckers got killed and had to respawn at main. I just stayed alive. Don't yell at me.
Yeah.
For not, you know, it happens. You try to like just let that shit roll off your shoulder. Right. Squad leading is really tough in the game too. It's a job.
If you got 4 people, like how big is a squad?
9.
Could you play if you got 9 people together? Could you all play as one squad, or is it always random?
No, you can totally choose like what squad you join.
Oh, I see.
Or you can, like what we do a lot when we get like 4 or 5 people, like what Damage actually squad leads a lot for us, and he's pretty good. He'll make a squad and lock it and then invite the other 3 or 4 players that we have. And then once we're all in, then he'll open the squad for randos to join with us.
I see. Dude, I'll pick it up. That sounds fun.
It's cool. It's, like I said, it can be real frustrating, and you die a lot without, like, I don't even fucking know where that came from.
Yeah. But,
you know, but when you like pull off a nice little like 4 or 5 piece kill because you flanked somebody, or your squad like holds out through this 45-minute long super intense battle.
Yeah.
No other game has touched it. It's pretty awesome for that shit.
That's cool. I'll have to check that. Yeah, I'll definitely pick that up. I've been meaning to anyway, so.
Yeah, I tried to rig the giveaway for you, but it didn't work.
Hey, man.
I'm just
Didn't Dangs win?
Yeah, Dangs won.
Piece of shit. I'm just kidding.
You guys have been playing 7 Days to Die. That was fun to watch.
Dude, that is
definitely need
so
to do more of that.
Fun. It's like Minecraft meets DayZ.
Right.
It's gotten so much better. Like
it looks way better.
It looks better, and then like it's fun. Like they have the loot, the way the loot is distributed. It's like really rewarding when you like raid a safe and you get the good stuff, and it's exciting. And yeah, it's just
rewarding loot. Holy shit.
I know, right? Like you actually get, like you feel like you achieved something for running for 15 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, all right, man. We are getting down here to the end.
Holy shit, that flew by.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing it.
Thanks for having me.
Is there anything like, if you could tell somebody who is thinking about streaming on Twitch, and what they want to stream on Twitch is different, right? Like everyone streams on Twitch, they stream video games and stuff, but I have a lot of really creative friends, and they need to hear it, like that they could stream on Twitch doing something that's not video games. Do you have any advice for them?
You just got to do it. You know, it's just like, it's not that different from the rest of Twitch. It might feel like it. It's the challenges are the same. It's not any easier, but it's not any harder either. Right. And if you don't do it, like, then you'll never know. And that's the only thing there is to it. Set it up, do it the best that you can within your abilities, but definitely do it. And, you know, don't get crushed too hard when it starts off small and slow, and don't get crushed too hard when it gets big and then starts to drop off again a little bit either, because that's just the way of Twitch.
Yeah, man. I completely agree. Just do it. Download OBS.
Yeah.
Figure out your stream key and just do it.
Exactly.
And don't share your stream key.
Right. Yeah. Talk to other people, get advice. I'm always, you know, you're the same way too. I'm always open for messages, and if you have questions and stuff, I can tell you how I did it or how I would do it if I could. That kind of stuff. I guess that's a big one is don't be afraid to ask, because I think most streamers are pretty open to share with you, or at least give you like clues. Yeah.
And where can they find you?
Twitch.tv/Rob_Strange_McNamara.
Perfect.
There'll be a link.
There'll be a link in the in the description.
Yeah.
And then Twitter, is it Twitter?
Twitter. Yeah. I'm sorry. Is at Rob_Strange_MCN.
Okay.
Because the whole thing is too long for Twitter.
For sure. Well, cool, man. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to me.
My pleasure, man. It was a good time.
Yeah, awesome.
Look forward to seeing the rest of them, or hearing the rest of them.
Yeah, this will be, well, we'll talk after this. Yeah, cool. Well, thank you so much, man. And yeah, thanks again.
Talk to you in a little bit, I'm sure.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, for listening to me ramble on to Rob about things that probably didn't make a whole lot of sense. If you want to be on the podcast, please hit me up on Twitter, at BruceCooper TV on Twitter. Make sure you go check out Rob Strange McNamara on Twitch. Link in the description. I cannot thank you enough for listening, for giving this podcast a chance in the sea of other podcasts that you have the ability to listen to out there. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much again. Take care of yourselves. Be good to one another. Treat each other right. Do not work too hard today or tomorrow or the next day. And yeah, keep your ear out for the next episode. Love ya. Thank you.